Alright, so the battery is charging for the C-Class. And what we have to do now? We have this door which was in a bit of an accident like 1.5 years ago. It still has this kind of different style of wrapping. So basically the door is pretty much smashed from outside, bunch of dents, and the corners are bent, and it's not worth of fixable. So, but the good thing is those are still good parts inside the engines for the lifting the window and everything. So I'm gonna take everything out, separate it, and the door shell, we're just gonna throw it out. And yeah, for those who are asking, this is going to be our winter project. Basically, I hope we're gonna manage to finish everything up, or at least most of the parts, until like the spring, like the warm weather is gonna come. So there is a lot of work into this. For like past 2 years or even more, I have been ordering bunch of parts for it. So I hope and I think it's gonna be worth it, because our goal is gonna be real high. And now let's get to the job. The door is completely out, everything I separated. So this is like completely shell, there's nothing inside. All the insides, all the engines and everything is legitimate here. Even the rubbers and tiny bolts. The windows, I pack it and leave it for whatever situation could happen. I'm just gonna mark it. That is a rear left window, so that's packed very well. What else we have? We have these boards. If you see our previous episodes, we purchased, I think it's 63 or 69 boards in total. And right now we're gonna make some examples what we need to do, like to have exactly same all the time measurements. Asking what we're gonna make. We're actually gonna make like a snack plate. I think that's how it's called. So you basically make a wooden tray, like a huge tray with a multiple like bowls inside with the handles and everything. So you make those and then sell and make a profit. So basically we're gonna make a template. So we can make multiple templates out of this plywood, and those are gonna last like for a really long time. And I think in a future time we're gonna make a lot of these, like in different sizes, shapes, forms, lengths, and whatever you can imagine. And because the December is coming, which means the New Year's and the Christmas is coming, so we're gonna make it simple. We're gonna make only 4 different sizes, so it will not gonna take a long time to do the templates, and also for the actual boards to market, it's gonna be way easier and faster. Right, so those have been marked now. Right now we're just gonna need to cut out the whole pieces, and this is basically how it looks. Then you're gonna trace it onto the actual board and make exactly same forms each time. Alright, so the forms are done. Basically we have 2 smaller ones, one without handles, one with the handles. And those handles are going to be like grooved inside the board. It's not going to be like, like a gap, so it's going to be curved inside. That's why I have some material here and here, so that's good. Same with the bigger ones, one without handles, one with, and yeah, so those are done. Later on we're just gonna place it, trace it, and mark it, by the templates. And basically we're gonna do all the boards that we have. See if the C-Class is gonna start It's been like charging for a few hours, I think. Come on. What do we have here? Okay. Let's see. Come on. It doesn't start. So when I was away for a pretty long time, I did a mistake. I didn't unplug the battery and it just sank down like entirely. And right now I'm gonna charge it. There's still some more lights to come. So we're just gonna leave it for a day, I think, more, and hopefully it will start. And just like that, we just made an entire boards marked with our templates, and this is way easier than just carve it with a hand. So next step we're gonna do is carve it out, make it nice and inside like the forms and everything. So that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so it's the next day. Well, it's kind of right. We have another task with the gas and some torch. So we have this small kind of like a garden shed, and the problem is that pipe that goes to underneath the basement is like leaking through the roof and all the water goes down. So we need to fix that. So I brought some simple setup, some torch, of course the gas. We have some bitumen like this, however you want to call it. Of course the ladders, we're gonna climb it, we heat it up the entire place, and then put a new sealant around the pipe. Right, so what the situation we have? Well, we have this pipe which goes, as I said, underneath the ground into the basement, and this pipe is basically for ventilation, so all the moisture, the air can flow back and the moisture can get out. But the problem, this is like an old, as you can see, cracked, and it's basically too old. It's all cracked around. You can move it. So we will try probably to just remove some, which is like loose, then heat up this kind of space and put like new sealant, so at least for quite a few years cannot outlast some. Quick, because it's early. The sun is gonna go down pretty soon, like 1.5 hours. It's gonna go pitch black, so we wanna be fast as possible, but at the same time do quality job, because this is kind of a side task. It's not for clients, not for cash, but just for a good measurement for my own like kind of family members. They keep in here like, I don't know, probably potatoes or some gardening tools, which is not so important, but you know, nobody wants a leakage inside any kind of house which is supposed to be holding from the outside. So let's do it. Alright, so we cleaned it a small amount. That was kinda pretty loose, as you can see. So right now I'm gonna just preheat this entire place. You simply always want to remove this, either entire place to remove, or at least those loose pieces just to remove, and then put a new one. So which is now we're gonna just preheat it. I am seeing some spots that have cracks in it, so we're gonna also seal those, and hopefully everything should work pretty fine. Alright, and your final product should kinda look something like this. So I saw some cracks here and there, so I also preheated the places so there's no like water or moisture at least, and then just gonna seal all these cracks around and all that pipe that was leaking. So that's pretty much done. So we're gonna pack it up and go back. Alright guys, so let's talk about the cache now. And basically, as you can see, those are almost done. I'm not gonna show you the ending process of those, because I mean, you saw the most of the part, how it's actually been shaped and done. But now let's talk about the prices. Let's talk about the cash and what is the income for those could be. As you know, as I showed you, I purchased in total of 63 boards, which only the wood material cost me around 400 euros. I will put somewhere the numbers, so that is a minus 400. Then of course I need a router bits, so the main one, I'm always using 3 bits, which is the main one, which is for the cutting the inside of these bowls. Then there is the inside corner one, which is like a small angle with the bearing on, and the outside corner, which I'm also using small one, but slightly bigger with the bearing. So for the bits, I use 5 bits, the main ones, 1 bit for the inside corner, and 1 bit for the outside corner. Every single bit costs around 6 euros. Also gonna count that. Also, we need to be precise. We need cutting tools, which means, as you saw, I'm using a jigsaw. For the jigsaw, obviously you need the saw blades. So I use like 3 of those, and each of those are like 2 euros. So add to that. Obviously don't forget to add the delivering cost for basically either way, you're delivering it with the delivery guy or with your own car. So either way it costs some. So let's add up for the fuel basically. What else? We need some finishing materials such as either sandpaper, either sandblast, or any kind of source of finishing material to work with. So at least for sandpapers around approximately 10 euros, because obviously at first you're gonna use something like this, a basic sandpaper, and at the finishing process you're going to use like a sponges with a very small digit numbers to be even more smoother. So add up that, and what else? Oh yeah, we need also to be and our like mineral, or to be covered with some sort of material all around to be protected from either water, rain, sunlight, or whatever it could be. So add up to that also. So I think electricity bill. Of course, the router eats a lot, the jigsaws, the router, and of course our drill, I think. Yeah, I think we use drill. Sometimes we use this big drill to do like inside candles, like, you know, for inside course the heating, because the wood, as you know, if it is wet conditions, if it is not dry, it's like moistury. The wood, especially if it's very dry, it's almost like, let's say 5%, it could start bending, which in many cases it's a very bad thing. If you're a carpenter, you know this. So of course the heating. So in total the cost for like 100 kilowatts of power on electricity, I think we use like 80 for this portion of what we did. So add up to that how much time we spend to make all of these. In total there's about 170 pieces, which are from small ones to bigger ones and to some special orders. So why we make those? Those are basically, I'm doing from like 16 years old, I think, so it's very good practice. It always sells out completely empty. I always end up with a zero in the shell. And especially for this time, because the Christmas coming, everyone wants to buy gifts, and it's like special high demand for these products, and most of the people want something unique and not crappy something from the store, you know. So they start looking for those, and those are pretty cheap. Like the maximum price for it, like I think is 25 euros a piece, and for like the small one it's like 13 euros, I think. That's the lowest price we're actually asking, which I think is pretty low. Alright, so you know the minus numbers. Let's talk about the profits now. The profits for it. So we spend approximately that much, all the costs. And yeah, so basically I have counted, and those all about 170 pieces is now worth around, if I be specific, it's worth around 2,960 euros. So that is pretty much the profit we're gonna make when we're gonna sell those. Because what in my business I'm doing, I make things and I sell them. So I do marketing in between. So it's making process, then there's marketing process, and then of course there's a selling process, which I do all of these from pretty long time. And as I mentioned, I'm doing this for like from 16 years. When I was 16 years actually, I started doing those, and it just popped right up. And yeah, so if you wanna ask what is the prices for those, I can make a post. Maybe if there's going to be some kind of demand for you guys, I can actually even sell. There's no problems with that. I will put, of course, my page where I sell all of these things down link below, so you can check it out. And yeah, so that is the thing I do. I mean, this is only one product. There are many products. I can mention all of them, but those are basically the most profitable and most easy to make, and it doesn't cost much to make. As you can probably see by the numbers, it's pretty good cost. You can earn pretty much good income. I think we're gonna end wrapping up this episode of basically making stuff and showing to you guys what we actually do for how to make profits, how to make cash, and to, you know, live on basic needs. So yeah, thank you as always. If you want to be seeing more of this content, something like this, of making, processing, selling, and if you're interested in, you know, profits and sort of things like this, you can always press a like. That helps a lot. Then I can see more specifically what people want to see and what people more likely want to see. So as always, thank you, and see you on the next time.